Extreme ways are back again. Extreme places I didn't know. I broke everything new again. Everything that I own.
And we're live.
And we are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
But live! Fuck it!
I can't believe it. We're now on the 9th episode of Ghost 4 to 13. My name is Travis. I'm here with my guest, Andy, and we have another fantastic person lined up for you today. Andy, would you like to go ahead and share or give a little tidbits to who we're speaking with?
Yeah, I've worked with him a few times. He, has a lot of range as an actor. He's played many different parts. Let's take a look at his reel and see what it's all about.
All right, sounds like a plan. Oops, hold on a second here. Of course, always have occasional.
Why we do it live?
I know, right? This is exactly why we do it live. Okay, there we go.
Really what you want? Do you want to live forever? What would anything matter then? There are those that don't agree with Ma. There is a better way.
Brandon, have a bleeding heart.
Reputation matters, Amy.
Lizzie,
Your name is whatever the fuck I say it is. I don't pay it to have a conscience.
sorry, my mistake.
Don't piss me off. Look, I'm just freaking colorblind, all right? I can't tell the difference. Oh, hold on. Hey, Alice, you got a minute?
Hey, Paul, I've got that presentation in 15.
Yeah, about that. You got those new outreach solutions for them? It's great. Also, are you open to some unsolicited feedback?
Sure, Paul, what you got for me?
Recognition, that's the currency for a starving artist.
Excuse me?
Got nothing to do with
She's
this.
my daughter.
Oh
She's
my
got everything
gosh,
to
I
do
was
with
with her for years. Okay, that's
how
real.
did
It didn't
end?
work out.
It didn't work
Bill,
out.
I've looked.
How did it end?
Bill,
How did it end? Answer the question, Tony. How did it end?
I've looked upon you as a father figure. How many?
Everyone knows you're banged up, Tristan. That chip on your shoulder, your fragile ego, your temper you can't control. So how long's it been?
Be quiet.
Hit me if you want, lad. It makes no difference to me. I'd love to see you back inside for assault. Would make my fucking day.
Here he is.
And without further ado, let's bring on our guest, actor, writer, and producer, Scott Alan Ward.
Hey,
Hey, welcome, 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 welcome.
how did it end, you think?
I'm sorry, what was that, Scott?
How did it end? That one clip said, how did it end? He never answered it. I wonder how it ended.
Yeah, I wonder how that did end. Yeah, I guess we'll have to have somebody have to go and watch it. Well, Scott, we're so happy to have you with us today. We both had the chance and opportunity to work with you on a few separate things, and
Yeah.
it's been such a pleasure to get to know you as a not just an actor, but as a friend. So thanks for joining us on the show. Our first question for you today is that you've had quite an interesting career. You studied philosophy at the University of Kansas and worked as a deputy public defender. After retiring from that, what made you decide to transition into acting?
Boredom, basically. So yeah, I studied. I actually taught philosophy at KU, and oddly, Ant-Man was one of my students.
Oh,
So I was a graduate
tell us that
student.
story.
Yeah. I was a graduate student teaching, and he was an undergrad. So
That's so
yeah. So I talked about doing philosophy. So I'm basically responsible for Ant-Man.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I did that. I was in the Army also. I practiced law. I went to the corporate world, and it's been a really busy life, right? And then suddenly I retired, and I sat around watching movies. I played video games, rode a motorcycle. I thought it'd be paradise, but honestly, it was just kind of like days came run together. There was no excitement. There was nothing going on that I really enjoyed that much. So I wanted to do something else. I was watching a movie, if you guys remember Real Genius, like 1980s movie, had Val Kilmer in it. Yeah. So I was watching this movie. I did like a Google, like what happened to them all, right? And it turns out that the love interest, Jordan, is an actress named Michelle Mayrank. And she quit acting like years ago and started teaching acting. And because of COVID, her school went online. And so I signed up. and started going to acting class online at first, then actually live classes later on. And so I did that for like 3 years. And at the same time, I was trying to get every kind of role I could get. This is almost part of my training in a sense, right? I did like the classroom training, you know, on the set was like lab class, right? Like lab training.
Mm-hmm.
And I fell in love with it faster and deeper than I thought I would, honestly.
That's
So-
fantastic. So it just kind of took off. You just
Yeah.
clicked with it, and you're like, you know what? This is the next adventure.
It did. My first role was actually a movie called Shoulder Dance, where I talked my way into being a background dancer. It's an LGBTQ rom-com. It's on Tubi, actually. And all I'm doing is just dancing, right? Yeah. Right. And the guy, I liked the producer and everything, or the director and everything, and we got along really well. And I thought, this is a cool thing to do. And then right after that, I did Craving, where I actually had a speaking part. That was my first speaking role ever.
So I want to talk about. So it's the first time I met you was on Backwoods Blood Feud, formerly A Hard Place.
Yeah.
So with your character White, like, how did you find your comfort zone, as far as like, you know, the acting? Because your character is just based on like mannerisms and facial expressions to like the end. And like, what are some of the challenges that you faced with, you know, just kind of standing there and doing all those things?
Yeah, so I was like, my first speaking role was in Jason's movie Craving, right? And my non-speaking role, my silent movie role, was in Backwoods Blood Feud. So I said very little, right? And it was like a running joke on set. I don't know if you heard this or not, but like every few minutes I'd say, "Can I say something now, Jason?" No.
Yeah.
No. Just kept going on, right? Did I have a line today? No. But yeah, it was interesting because with every character, really, I sort of, you know, I went to acting school and we did Meisner technique mostly is what I learned formally, but I do some of that. But what I do really, it feels more like excavation, like I'm digging into myself. And so with White, I had to develop this backstory for him. And Jason helped a lot too, right? In talking through the backstory. But White was like kidnapped. He was like 7 or 8 years old, and they were going to eat him, basically use him as food. And Zinnia, who was a few years older than White, sort of befriended him, but she still raised him kind of like livestock more than anything else. He wasn't like a human contact sort of thing. And so White was never spoken to, and because White was never spoken to, he never said anything. So he never provided any. There's no context he could talk about. So he didn't have a context about how to speak to people really. And so that's how I kind of played it. Like, it wasn't that he was being held back from speaking. It was like he didn't know how to speak really.
Right.
I mean, he knew words, right? He didn't know how to speak. And so that one scene, you showed part of it at the very beginning of my reel, is when he's trying to convince Zinnia to do something that she didn't want to do. And he kind of summoned up, right, the energy to do that whole spiel to kind of get her to that point where I won't give anything away, where they took action. Right.
That's
Kinda
funny.
I actually had I've done like a lot of like silent shorts lately, so I kind of understand where you're coming from. So it's not like, you know, yeah, you're talking on set, but you know, the sound's taken away, and it's all about like your expressions, and you know, everything means so much more when you're not talking. So that's why I think the character of White is so intriguing, because I feel like every single time that he does something that's, you know, kill somebody, or you're stepping in front of, you know, Kevin's character by the car and things like that, everything has a meaning.
Yeah. If you know Kevin Caliber, right? Kevin Thompson, right? It's like, he's like a big guy, bodybuilder sort of guy. I was supposed to be imposing to him. It's like,
I don't know. You can come off pretty fierce there, Scott. I don't know.
maybe, I don't know.
Well, actually, that kind of brought me to my next question, was about your character and the history. But what was that like working with Lynn Lowry, and did you both help develop that character with her as well?
Yes, and it's kind of funny, and I hope Lynn forgives me for sharing this. I've shared it on Facebook, but I haven't spoken to it yet. But so before our scene, we had this dialogue together, right? The longest one I had at that point. Not since then, but I've had a longer dialogue since. It was the longest kind of the interchange I had with a scene partner. And she had some downtime. I had some down. She said, "You want to run some lines?" It's like, oh my God, yeah, Lynn Lowry, I'll run lines with you, right? And so I was still trying to develop what White would sound like. So at that point, he hadn't said anything, right? And so I came up with this idea that he would be like pushing it out, like, I don't, like he'd do something like that, right?
Yeah.
And we did the lines and everything. And we got to the very end. She said, would you be willing? She's a very sweet person, by the way. She said, would you be willing to take some advice? It's sure. Lynn Lowry, sure. Give me any advice you want. That wasn't very good. It's like, okay.
Oh, thanks, I guess.
Thank you for the advice, Lynn. But yeah, no. And I said, well, what do you think I should do? Right. And she said, well, you're doing too much. She said, you clearly know the lines, right? You know how to respond, but you're trying to make this fake voice and you're trying to give this pushed out sort of attitude about how you're speaking, right? She said, but you don't really know what Jason wants yet. And so just go in, do your voice, do the lines, and see what Jason tells you. And that's what I ended up doing. And what Jason told me to do actually was use my voice, but keep getting quieter and quieter, almost to the point where it's like, not like you're whispering love letters into someone's ears, right? I'm talking to her like this. Come on, is that really what you want to do? Right? It's that kind of thing. And so this fierce guy named White was speaking in a very kind, sort of honest, upfront voice with her. So.
Love that.
It's kind of weird when you watch it back for like the first, like we watched it at the premiere, and it's like, holy crap, because it was the first time I'd seen it.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't know you spoke until the end because I don't think I was there when you had those speaking lines.
I wasn't sure if he'd cut it out or not. So I was struggling to speak either.
I mean, I was there the whole time, but I don't think I was on set with you when you were speaking. I mean,
it wasn't closed set, obviously, but it was just Lynn and I and the camera people and the sound people.
Mm-hmm.
So
cool.
Sorry, Andy, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, so I guess that will bring us into Jason's other feature, Apex Predators Club.
Was I in that one?
I think so. I think you might have been.
Well, yeah, I guess. Sorry, I thought we were gonna put a question on there. I just kind of want to know, like, tell us a little bit about the Jonah character and like his backstory and like what were the challenges on him, because I know you had to, change a lot and had a lot of special effects going on and things like that. So just kind of a lot of sitting around and being there for a while.
Eating through a straw and drinking through a straw.
Yeah,
a lot too. Yeah, with Jonah, it was my first time ever. I mean, I've done monstrous characters, right? White was kind of a monstrous character, but he wasn't a monster; he was a human, right? Jonah is a straight up monster, right? Mm-hmm. And so I remember telling Jason. I mean, I didn't create the character; Jason did. But I remember telling Jason a long time ago that I've always wanted to play a Frankenstein sort of character, somebody who was not bad, not evil inside, but sort of had to become that because of how the world treated him. And so that's my sort of backstory with Jonah, right? So I was trying to do that. I was trying to say that, Jonah, I mean, you think about it, there's like a philosophical notion to it in a sense, not to get philosophy on it again, but Jonah, his very first line, this warehouse where all these creatures are gathered, and again, no spoilers or anything, was that at the same moment he became aware. So he became aware, self-aware, that he existed in a sense, right? Up until that point, he was just going, not even animal, just going by reaction. He didn't know internal life really, and it kind of triggered at that moment. And so his realization is a horrible thing. I mean, you'll have to see the movie to see how horrible it is, but it's a horrible thing for him, as it turns out, for a lot of other people, right? Right. And so the difficulty in bringing that role across was I didn't speak a lot in that one either. I spoke a little bit, probably more than White did.
Yeah.
But I had a prosthetics on. I was 4 inches taller than I normally am. So I had these
very tall in those shoes, Scott.
Yeah. I wore high heels. And I wore like wedges basically, right? They were like 4 inches of height to me. And so I'm like 5'11", so my height was like 6'3" or something like that, or 6'4" maybe, in the movie. So there was that difficulty walking, and because of the way the prosthetics were, I could barely see or hear anything. And so I could see right in front of my face on the ground. I couldn't see in front of me directly. I couldn't see side to side very well. And so this big monstrous creature, right, had to be kind of led around by the hand by whoever would help me, so I wouldn't fall in a hole. or hit a branch or something, right? And so, but yeah, that was difficult. And it was also difficult because I still had to express myself, right? I still had to express Jonah, but all I had to work with was a little bit of my mouth. You can see the bottom part of my mouth, my eyes, which I think play off pretty well in the movie, what I've seen so far, and also my voice. And again, Jason was there to help with that. What he wanted was almost a childlike voice. Because you think about it, Jonah is kind of a child in a sense, right? He's recently created, and older parts, but still just recently created. So he's learning the world, and he's hurt in the movie in the same way a child gets hurt, in a sense.
Yeah. Well, I got to say, when I first saw Backwoods Blood Feud and your character as Mr. White, I always remember I was like, this is an actor that I'd be so interested in meeting. But because you have such a menacing presence, I was really kind of worried to meet you. And so when on Apex Predators Club, there was the opportunity, there you were in the flesh, seeing you juxtapose that with who you really are and your personality really clued me in on, wow, this guy is really, really, really good at what he does in terms of his physical roles and acting. And I love sitting down with you and talking about Jonah, breaking down that character and your inspirations behind it. Especially before that you got that huge prosthetic put over your head, because like you said, you really couldn't see or hear anything from it. But it was such a great time to chat with you and kind of break down where your mindset was when you're trying to approach that character. And I can't wait to see it, especially to compare it with your role as White, because we have these two different more physically related roles, but clearly with huge character contrasts, little nuances of their performances. Whereas we got Mr. White as this really quiet, solemn, take orders type guy. We've got Jonah, who, like you had said, is experiencing life in a weird way and reacting to the violent nature of everything that it's thrown at. But I'm excited for it, Scott. I really, really can't wait.
Yeah, me too. It was a fun role to play. Difficult in a lot of ways, like I said, but still it was incredibly fun. I enjoyed our conversations too, by the way. That was a good time.
Great. Yeah, here's a picture of you and Andy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, those studs. Yeah.
He has that shirt.
Yeah, and then there was the time that I got a chance to see you, so that was always really nice.
I know I should have put that shirt on. What the hell is it?
That's funny. I have the jacket that I wore, that Jonah wore. So my plan is if I do get to go to the premiere, which I don't know if I can or not, but if I do get to go, I'm gonna wear that jacket. So
Should I wear the shirt then? Or
you should wear it. It probably stinks, but you should.
Probably did. Yeah, probably does by now. Yeah.
Actually, I have kind of a surprise question for both of you, being that you've worked on those projects. I only got the opportunity to go to the set in person on Apex, but didn't get a chance to go see Backwoods Blood Feud. But from what I gathered, that was really, really cold, and Apex was really, really, really hot.
Yeah, it was
so
crazy.
for both of you, what would you say was the more preferable situation to be in?
No, I mean,
Well,
Freezing cold or really, really, really hot?
for me, I mean, marginally the hot, because the cold, it was unhealthy cold, right? It's like 9 below zero or something like that, wind chill, or even further than that. So, I mean, my struggle with the cold was when I was just shivering, my teeth were chattering, right? Because I wasn't dressed that warm, I was in costume, right? And when Jason said action, my struggle was to stop shivering, right? That's what I tried to do the best I could, right? But it was really hot in Louisiana, under that prosthetic especially. So
yeah, I agree. I prefer the hotness outside because you can actually do stuff still. That first day on a hard place was brutal because I was doing sound and I had no clue what the hell I was doing. So I'm holding the boom. I've got no gloves on because my fingers are too big to adjust levels and stuff. So my hands just like froze to the thing, and I'm shaking, and I don't know if my lobs are working. And yeah, so I got thrown right into the fire with that. I haven't done sound since, but it was freaking cold that first day for sure. And then it would rain one day, and then it would be nice. Then it would snow, and then it'd be nice again. And It was a plethora of weather, that's for sure.
Yeah, but it looked good. I mean, on camera.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really tell the difference, but
Yeah.
Well, that brings me to a discussion that you and I had behind the scenes, Scott, when you were talking about your acting career, because you had asked me if I had seen the movie Paradise Records. And
Oh,
at the time, I hadn't. So I'm going to play a little clip here because I just wanted to share this. Give me 1 second.
You're not gonna shoot me, Daryl.
Stop.
You're gonna shoot me?
I will shoot you right in the fucking head.
There's Scott.
Fucking kill you. I said fucking shoot me.
Now, I'm not going to spoil what happens next, but that is a really pivotal scene.
Yeah.
I remember when you had told me about the scene, I really didn't quite understand the context other than just your story that you shared.
I'm a clown.
So seeing it was probably one of my favorite moments just in general, because I love that blow on the screen, especially when you find out what's really going on with that particular segment.
Yeah, I was a cop in that movie too, but if you know what I look like and know the scene, you can kind of see me walking around behind Ron Perlman. But
yeah,
the clown got more of a show. So
yeah, it's funny because I was going to ask you that, because there was the brief scene with Ron Perlman, and briefly the cop goes by, and I'm like, that's got to be Scott.
Yeah.
Would you be able to share your experience on that set and what was more of the story behind it?
Yeah, it was. I was background, right? I was this background role. I do a lot of those. Well, a lot of them. I've done 4 background roles, so much less than I've done like supporting characters. But I enjoy it because usually it's local, it pays, and also you get to meet, because they're usually higher budget movies, right? Like this one, Paradise Records. You get to meet some like A-list stars, right? So I met like Ron Perlman, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh, that's so cool.
Logic, right? Of course, the singer, the rapper. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt was fun. Ron Perlman was grumpy as hell.
Oh, really? I could see that.
I think I interfered with going to a smoke break. I think because I said, hey, I stopped him. We're not supposed to talk to the actors, right? But I did. And I said, hey, I loved you in Name of the Rose, man. The monk role you play was just spot on. He goes, yeah, thanks, bye. It's like that kind of conversation, right? But,
yeah.
And then, but Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I noticed he'd been acting forever, right? And he's really, really good at it. And between every take, he had little crib notes, just like I carry around, little Post-it notes with his lines written in it. And so he's looking at them, and he put it back in his pocket and look at them again, right? I said, that's exactly what I do, right? All the time. He goes, yeah, man, you do that too? Yeah. And we talked about that for a little bit, how you don't really need them so much. It's just like a security blanket.
Yeah.
Right? You know they're there in your pocket. You never look at them, right? So yeah, it was fun. It was Logic was really cool, right? It was I didn't know who he was. I'm not a big rap listener, right? And I go up on set, and this guy comes up to me and goes, hey, I'm Bobby. Do you need anything? Need any coffee, soda drinks? I said, no, man, I'm just here in the background act. Oh, great. That's really cool that you're here. I thought he was a PA. And he goes, funny. I go, yeah. I said, do you know where I'm supposed to go? He said, I should. This is my movie, but I don't. It's like, what? It was funny. And then one other time, they didn't have this in the movie. They cut it, but there was a scene where us cops, there's like 4 or 5 of us, right? We're chasing the bad guys. Who that one guy that was in the movie was Joseph Gordon-Levitt was the main bad guy. We're chasing through this field and behind these buildings and everything. And they give the bad guys the ability to shoot at us, right? Click, click, click. Just, they load the sound in later. I said, hey, Logic, can we shoot back? I said, hey, Bobby, I think. I didn't say a lot. Hey, Bobby, can we shoot back? He goes, fucking yes, you can. I said, okay, let's shoot back. So we started shooting back at him. They cut the scene.
Oh, dang. But still.
They always got the good stuff.
Yeah. They filmed it to make it like it was all like body cams.
Okay.
They had somebody with a Apple phone running in front of somebody, right? Make it like it was a body cam. We didn't
Oh,
actually
that's
have
pretty
body
clever. That's cool. That's movie magic there for you.
Yeah.
Was it true though that he's the one that chose you to specifically play that clown?
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of, I clearly was not the first selection because the clown suit did not fit me at all. It was like way too small. And so they said, well, I don't think you can do it. I said, well, he told me to do it. It was like, he told me to put on the clown suit, right? He said, go and put on the clown suit. So I did, right? And they had to cut all the scenes apart and then basically put me in it and stitch me up. So I couldn't get out of the suit. They had to cut me out of the suit in the end because it was like, it wouldn't fit me, right? So
Still, that's
Yeah.
true dedication right there.
I think it came out pretty well. And the
Yeah.
funny part about it was he filmed the glitter blowing, Logic did.
Yeah.
And so I spent several takes. He said, do it again. Blowing directly into his face. Right. For his camera. Right? It's like, I hope it took a minute. Right.
Yeah, right.
No, I got that problem too. I don't fit in much either. So
Yeah. Well,
Well, it was a very effective scene. I think that was really well pulled off.
yeah, that's fun.
And speaking of fun roles, that brings us to another really fun clip. I'm just going to pull this up right here.
It's me. Stop.
Maddie, he wants to take you from me. Don't listen to his lies, Maddie. Destroy him!
Free me. I'm sorry, Becker.
Dan won't spoil that, but that was an opportunity where he actually got to be on the other side of it and fighting the monsters. And also had a kind of a fun twist with your character being responsible for trying to originally destroy what was evil. What was it like playing that character? And can you walk us through that scene? Because that was quite an intense scene.
Yeah. So it was fun. I had, and I went all out on that in terms of like getting fake tattoos.
Cool.
Neck tattoos. I had tattoos on my forearms. It said Darlene was one arm, it said Maddie the other arm. My girlfriend, my best friend, who I thought died and I lost years earlier. And then I spend the next 30 or 40 years, not 40, I guess, but 30 years in the basement of a movie theater, being the janitor, right? And I was like trapped. I was like trapped in this janitorial role, and everybody thought that I was like off in some ways. I kind of was, I guess. I'd become slightly possessed by this monster.
Yeah.
For 30 years.
Yeah.
And what I had to do in that scene was it was the moment where I kind of got unpossessed in a sense, right? I've been preparing all along, like guns and weaponry, and the cool vest that I had on was like some sort of magical shield, helped me protect myself from the monster, right? And then I had to go in, and the idea was I was going to kill the monster. And at some point, it became clear to me that wasn't going to happen, right? I wasn't going to be the hero. And so I tried to do the next best thing, was to make it easier for the true heroes to kind of survive. And that's what I was trying to do there, actually. And Maddie, my best friend that I thought I'd lost, he was totally possessed by them. I was partially possessed. He was totally possessed, right? And he became sort of aware of who he was and what situation, what circumstances he was in at that moment, which is why he asked me to kill him, basically. So it was a the funny thing about roles like that get really emotional is that I get really emotional, right? I know everybody's the same way. I don't mean like I'm a method actor or something like that, but I can't be that way unless I feel that way in a sense, right? So it takes a lot out of me, right? I remember kind of collapsing after the whole thing was over, right? Just kind of, I need a moment sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
And to kind of get myself into the mood to play that sort of solitary figure. He was really solitary. He had nothing. He had no body, he thought, right? We filmed in this old schoolhouse, like abandoned schoolhouse, been abandoned for like 30 years, something like that. And there was this basement area where it was supposed to be my home, where I lived at. And there was no light in it. So when we were filming, it was just dark, just pitch dark. And so I would lay in there on the cot, that's supposed to be my bed between scenes. I would just go there and kind of lay there, right? It sort of kept me in that mindset that I'm alone, right? I'm isolated. Other humans aren't part of my world in the sense, right? That's where I was at first. And I remember one of the makeup people came in, and I'm laying there, and the door opens, kind of sees light hit the person, hits me, and she like jumped, right? Like a jump scare sort of thing. She goes, "Are you okay?" I said, "It's all right. I'm just dead," or something like that, right? But just to keep myself in that sort of state, and maybe I'm over analyzing it, but
No, I don't think so.
But it works. It works for me.
I think that's what really pulls and brings out that depth to the character. That's one thing I really do see in your acting when you get into that character. So I think that was great. Was it difficult working with all those flashing lights in that segment? Was there a lot of chaos there?
There was a lot of chaos, right? It was there was that, and there was also a couple other scenes where the same sort of thing was going on, right? It was just a whole lot of movement, a whole lot of chaos, I guess, right? And it was, I guess it wasn't distracting to the extent that took me out of my character so much, but it was distracting to the extent that it would catch my eye sometimes. I would want to look at it, right? Distract myself from it. So you would see this guy really intensely focused on Maddie doing like this suddenly, right? Why is he doing that, right? Why is he looking at the light? So I had to kind of do that. And it took a couple of takes to get that correct, and to get the whole Maddie picking me up thing correct, right?
Yeah.
Which you haven't seen the other actor, but there's a big size difference between us, right? And so, I don't. Maybe he could lift me. I don't know, but I don't think he could. So.
Did you have like wires for that, or did you have to stand up on something and pretend?
It was like an Apple box.
As Apple box, yeah.
Apple box and just creative camera work, right?
Yep. Well, more movie magic.
Yeah, Mark Cantu is a great director. I mean, he's really good at not just director, but also he filmed it too. Great, his own DP, right?
Yeah, that's great.
So you had a part in a movie. It's a really intriguing story about Jack the Ripper. It's called Ripper Revealed.
Oh, yeah.
For the role at all, I mean, or in your lifetime, have you ever like researched like in depth about Jack the Ripper? Or are you kind of surprised that they haven't been able to identify him at all? Because I see that like the only suspect they ever had was that barber guy, Aaron Kosminski, I think his name is.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I did a little bit just for that role, right? And also the role itself talks about some of the possibles, right? Because I played basically a Jack the Ripper researcher, right? It was a role I shot here in the U.S. in my house actually, but it was actually in the movie. It was made over in England, so I did a little bit, not a whole lot. I mean, I think most I know about Jack the Ripper probably came from Hell.
Oh, that's
Johnny
good.
Depp.
Yeah, I saw that in the theater. I actually liked it a lot.
Yeah, I like From Hell.
Yeah, that's a good reference on
But
that.
you're right. I mean, the Jack the Ripper character, it makes you think that the reason that nobody was found is kind of like the way it played out in From Hell. They didn't want the person found, right? Something like that.
Have you are you like big into serial killers like that? Because I remember when I was in Vegas, I went to the Zach Bagans Museum. I don't know if you've ever been there or not, but it's kind of crazy. You go through there and all of a sudden you walk in there and he's got Dr. Kevorkian's truck and he's got shit from Dahmer and Bundy, and it's just, I don't know, you get this uneasy feeling, looking at these weapons that were used to kill people and stuff like that. So
yeah, I mean, I don't really, I like some of the serial killer stuff, right? But I saw a movie, oh God, it wasn't a movie, it was a HBO series called Mindhunter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. So it deals with serial killing, right? The beginning of the phrase or the concept of serial killing was basically portrayed in that movie. It's pretty realistic, from what I understand. But the funny thing about it is it's centered around the BTK killer, a guy named Dennis Rader. And he started his killing spree. He's still alive, I think, but he started his killing spree when I was in high school in Wichita, Kansas. So he started his killing spree in Wichita, Kansas while I was in high school. So we were talking about it back with people back then. We're scared, right? We didn't know who it was. We had no idea what was going on. And then he kind of petered out and didn't kill anybody for the longest time. And then he came back up again after I came back to Wichita as a lawyer, as a deputy public defender, which is odd, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't me. It was Dennis Rader. Just because I was there doesn't mean anything. But
Right.
and I quit practicing law. Or I left that practice of the law anyway. And then like a year or two after, he got caught, basically turned himself in. And my partner at the public defender's office became his attorney. So it was kind of a weird connection, right? I went to high school when he started. My office was my office anyway, defended him when he got caught. So I'm into it to that extent, I guess. The concept behind it, the mindset behind how you can do that, how you can be a sociopath to the extent that you just lose empathy, right? You lose empathy for people, and they become like objects to you more than actual humans. It's just, I mean, I haven't studied it. It's just a very interesting concept to be able to do that. I don't grasp how you can do it.
Right.
I felt so weird, like in those rooms, just looking at that stuff. Like, you know, I'm looking at Kevorkian's truck. It's like, okay, people were killed in this thing, and I'm standing right in front of it. And it's just like
he wasn't a serial killer, though.
No, I mean,
Well,
I mean,
he was, but
technically he wasn't. Yeah,
but I get it, right? I get it completely.
Yeah, you kind of want to just get out of there at that point. Like, I mean, it's fascinating stuff, but it's like I'd rather look at other things that make me happy than people's images of them dying. But,
yeah, and I do, right? I speak of the attorney thing, it made me think about it, about the killer thing, but I do pull up aspects from sort of my clients in a sense, right? Or the people I knew that I defended way back then. I don't pull them up completely, but the way they behave, the way they justify things in their minds, right? I mean, there's a logic behind it. It's perverse and crooked, but there's a logic behind it.
Sure.
I had one guy who he told me once that about why he shot this building up with a rifle is that because he saw blood trails leading there that the aliens were dragging people to. Now he didn't, right? But he had a logical reason, by a perfectly fine logic, about these blood trails. These aliens abduct these humans, dragging them to this building, so he had to free them by shooting at the building.
Well, there's an interesting logic when it comes to serial killers or killers in general, because it's not necessarily that they're unintelligent people. I think quite the opposite, you know. So understanding that psychology, I totally relate, especially at being that you had history with law. I can't imagine. I had a family member that wanted to go into forensics, and to me, I'm like, ooh, you know, as much as I'm a horror fan, seeing that in real life is way more real and gruesome than I'd hope for. But speaking of that film, that wasn't actually the only Chris Sanders movie that you were in. You did have a brief cameo in Big Cats, which I do have to say was probably my favorite. I loved your presentation with the tarot cards and talking about Anubis.
Yeah.
But on the counter of that, you did end up playing a very, very, very good villain. And I believe in your acting reel that we just showed, there was a clip from that. I do kind of want to share that again, because just to kind of show our audience this wonderful character you were portraying.
I didn't see you at the funeral. Things are busy around here, Tristan. Things to do.
Still talk with Katie?
Haven't seen her in years.
So you never kept in touch?
Why would I? Silly cow, just like her mom. No offense, of course.
Can you blame them?
What do you mean?
Well, you weren't exactly husband of the year, were you?
Like you were brother of the year.
I was always there if they needed me.
Oh, really?
Oh, she's my kid's sister. I'll do anything for her, unlike you.
I did my fucking best.
Oh, sure. Slapping that mother around really helps your cause.
She was hell to live with, Tristan. You don't understand.
Oh, I understand. I remember everything, Brandon. Every bruise, every mark, everything.
Is that why you're here, lad? Give me a smack in the mouth? Go ahead.
I'm long past that.
Then what do you want?
I told you. I've come back to see Katie, and then I'm gone for good.
I don't think she'd listen.
Where is she?
I told you I don't know. She cleared off months ago.
She cleared off months ago.
Well, that was weeks ago. Who's counting?
Yeah, who's counting, right? Well, that was from Irish Ashes, where I believe you played. Was it Brandon McDonald?
Yeah.
So, being that you just touched on how you got emotionally involved with your characters, what was it like transitioning into that nefarious villain that you played?
Yeah, with him, it was almost like we talk about serial killers, right? There had to be a logic behind what he was doing, right? And so the way Brandon thought of himself, probably rightfully so, right? Not that I'm the smartest person in the room, but he thought of himself as the smartest person in the room. As sort of he had a boss that you see in the movie too, but he sort of played everybody, right? He played the boss. He got the boss to do what he wanted him to do, and he got Tristan, the stepson, to do what he wanted him to do, which is basically to conflict with one another. And the way Brandon's logic was working was, if Tristan kills his boss, that's great. Now I'm the boss, right? If the boss kills Tristan, that's great. I don't like Tristan anyway, right? We want to get him arrested.
It's a win-win.
Yes, they kill each other, even better, right? Is
Yeah.
the way he was thinking about it, right? So figuring out what his goal was, and his goal was to acquire as much power and money as he possibly could. And he didn't really care how he did it. So speaking of the lack of empathy, he had no empathy.
Right.
Everybody was a means to his success, whatever that might be. And he enjoyed it. The one scene where I'm grabbing the other actress's hair, which I don't really grab her hair, my hand's just behind her head. So it's just, I'm not, it wasn't that physical to see. It looked more physical than it actually was.
Mhm.
But there's a scene just before that where he's basically playing with his kid, like a 19, 20-year-old guy, right, who stole his cocaine from him. And he sort of playfully sort of pokes him in the belly, kind of playfully with his cane. And he talks about how, maybe it's all my fault. And I got that from Walking Dead. Remember when Negan says, maybe this is all my fault. I'm just spaghetti, right? And so I was thinking about that. I said, you see this kindly guy with this silly accent, American accent, and trust me, it is silly. And maybe I led you to believe I'm just a guy you can pick my fucking pocket. Oh, no, it was my fault, right? Not you. It's not your fault. I ended up sending him out back to get gutted. So, but I had a good time, and that's what Brandon was about, right? Brandon was about pleasing himself as much as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you played it very well, I got to say. You could definitely tell that there was some nuances to the character where you're full of shit, but you're really good at charming your way and talking around what's really going on. And unfortunately, kind of setting Tristan on these fool's errands throughout the whole story and premise. It was pretty.
And my boss, right? My boss was trying to get him to. I manipulated him to get him to do what I wanted to do. I got him to think it was his idea to do what I wanted him to do, right?
Yeah.
Which, interestingly, I used to be a contract negotiator for collective bargaining agreements, a union contract negotiator, right? And the skill in that is to get the opposing side to believe it's their idea, right? To ask for something. You guys got to set it up correctly, and suddenly they kind of fall into it usually and say, "Oh, that's a great idea," right?
Yeah.
Why didn't I think of that? Right?
So it's great because it's kind of almost like your previous careers have helped you kind of develop these different personas and characters.
Yeah. No, they have. I mean, it's like there's so many things I've done. It's not like trying to invent things all the time, right? It's like, oh yeah, I remember doing that. I remember being in a courtroom. I remember dealing with killers. I remember dealing with rapists. I remember dealing with people like that, right? So I kind of know how they think and how they, not completely, but how they activate themselves. The Army helped a little bit too, but that's just got me out of being a hobo. I was a hobo for a while as well.
So I'm going to get into the movie Love Sick Reborn.
Hell yeah.
So you play Special Agent Josh Whitman, and
I've always loved that picture.
Yeah.
It looks like you're about ready to take action.
Yeah. I honestly think this is like one of my favorite roles of yours. I love the dynamic with the sisters. It kind of seems like you're playing like a dad role to the main character, Samantha.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy playing like these serious kinds of characters? Because it seems like, everyone that I've seen you do, you're really good at it.
Well, I hope I am, right? But yeah, I enjoy all of it, honestly. I mean, the horror stuff I've done, I enjoy completely. And I kind of fell into it in a sense because that was the first thing I did, right? I really liked working with Jason, so I'm going to do it again and again and again.
Right.
And Mark Cantu's the same way. I want to do it again and again and again. But yeah, I like the serious roles too, right? And it plays a different sort of tempo, right? It's a different way of thinking about your character and thinking about how acting is done. Like in Josh's case, he was very father-like, paternalistic to his agents, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And when one of them sort of betrays him, he took it very personally, right? He took it very hard, and it almost destroyed him. And he got over it finally, but it was that scene you're showing with the pistol being drawn. I've always thought of that in terms of in relation to like the role of White. So White has a couple of shots where he's like holding the pistol too, but the eyes aren't quite the same, right? It's White likes this almost gleeful, just shooting at anything he wants to shoot at. We're almost happy about it. But Josh, he's already made the shot when he's looking, right? That was what I was trying to get in his face, that the shot's already made. His hand's not reached that point yet, but the shot's already made.
Yeah, he just has to pull the gun.
Very precise, very, very intentional, unlike White, who was just gun happy or hammer happy. He killed a lot of people with hammers too. So.
Yeah, I liked White. Like they'll show you and you got a gun, and then 4 minutes later you got a hammer, then you got a screwdriver, then you got I don't know what the hell else you got.
I'm like a
MacGyver of killers. Yeah,
I'm a multi-tool. I could kill with a hockey ticket and a paperclip. That's all I need.
That's all you need.
Yeah, I liked all the twists, all the plot twists in that movie. Especially with the sisters and the boyfriend and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then like towards the end, when I don't have to spoil it if anybody hasn't seen it, but when she takes Samantha out there in the car and she's supposed to kill her, and then it just kind of breaks down from there, and
yeah,
the reunion.
Yeah. No, I'm saying I'm doing another movie with the same director called The Golden Dell Slasher, where I play a sheriff, Sheriff John.
That's something we'll have to keep our eyes open then for.
Yeah.
Now, on to that particular thing, because I really did enjoy Josh. I felt like that was a character that kept everybody, the team, everyone locked in together. I was secretly worried that there's some point that either the character would meet a demise or switch as a double agent or something along those lines. I'm glad that wasn't the case. But that being said, were you always a fan of like espionage films, or were there any other series like that you'd like to tackle or be a part of?
Yeah, I mean, I love them all. I mean, from the John le Carre stuff. I like the books and the movies made after. I like the Jason Bourne series, right? I never read the books, but I like the movies. The Bond series, I like all those things, right? The idea of and Bourne and Bond are very different, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Bond's this crazy sort of sexed up sort of superhero ladies man sort of thing. Bourne's furthest from that as possible, right?
Right.
He's a guy who's trying to find the truth in himself. I think Josh is more towards the Bourne side than anything else, because the idea behind that is that Josh was like the trainer for people like Bourne. He didn't train Bourne, he trained people like Bourne who became those super agent sort of things. And he got deeply involved with them because he knew he was breaking them in some ways. Because you have to, right? It's like basic training in the military. You got to break something down before you can build it up again.
Right.
And so he was hurting them, but he built them back up again into something different. But yeah, I like roles like that.
I think that hits the nail on the head with that one scene when she's talking about not liking to being lied to. But you've explained, unfortunately, that's just a part of the job. That's a part of the territory.
Yeah, what it is. In other words, I'll lie to you, right? He's very honest about that.
Yeah. And
again, the lawyer thing kind of picks up on that too. One of the things you have to do as an attorney, as part of your professional responsibility, is lie a lot. Right? you can't lie to the court. You can't do that. But you can lie to damn near everybody else. Right. And you kind of have to. You can't. Sometimes you have to hide truths and tell non-truths, and just to make sure you're representing your client the best way possible.
Right. I guess in some ways, as a lawyer, that's kind of acting in itself. So maybe you were an actor a lot longer than you thought.
Yeah, I mean, and I didn't think about it in that way at the time, but now that I talk about how I act now by excavating things out of myself, my own personality, I think, I was doing the same thing, right? And my mom told me once, she said, Scott, you become a different person every 3 to 5 years. There's a lot of truth to that. I mean, I have a very permeable personality. It isn't. This sounds kind of weird, I guess. It's like I'm a nut, but I've never felt like I had a fixed personality, right?
Yeah.
I have lots of different things inside of me, and it's unified in the sense I don't go nuts, but I don't know if everybody's like that or not, or if just some people are like that, but I'm like that, right? There's a whole lot of Scots inside here, and they're all different in a lot of ways. So
We'll keep those Scots coming out to the world because we're liking what we're seeing. So
it's fun. I remember my acting teacher, Michelle, one time. It's part of like feeling like you're the smart person in the room again, right? I got in that mindset when I was in acting class that I was, yeah, I know what I'm doing. What's acting? I can do that, right?
right.
And so I was acting as an actor. You know, it's a weird way of saying it. I wasn't really getting into the characters. And she told me one time, a couple of times actually, she said, Scott, you're acting. Stop performing, start being. It's like, yeah. I was performing that I was an actor rather than being an actor. And it's easy to fall into that, for me anyway. It's easy to fall in that trap over and over and over again. Is you try to act like the character you're acting rather than just doing the character, right?
Yeah.
It's an odd way of saying it, I guess, but that's
No,
what
but that makes sense. That makes sense.
Well, I think we're at the point of the show. We appreciate you coming on here, and for all the people watching here, we have a little video we want to show you just to kind of show you how we feel here, how other people feel.
I will say that this person has been watching the show, did say hello earlier, but we'll go ahead and go right into that clip there for you.
Ward is the embodiment of what I find so appealing in the indie community. Number one, he's the first person to arrive on set. He's the last person to leave. He would do anything to make a set go smoother, always offering a helping hand in any way he can. He's the nicest guy I've been around in the 4 years that I've gotten into this business. And to be honest, I'm lucky to call him a friend. I'm super excited that he's part of my first movie.
Coach.
He is. What a kiss ass.
Thomas is great. Thomas is a great guy.
Oh,
I really like him.
Well, shout out to Tom because he was in the comments earlier watching us. So thanks for sharing that tribute there, Tom. He wanted to definitely say some kind words to you.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Offer a tribute for this episode. Which brings us to we'll get, because we have the next segment coming up. But before we get to that, another role that I think Annie and I agreed upon that you did really well in was in Pancake Man.
Oh yeah,
played Teddy. Especially in those moments in there when you're sick in the hospital bed and you're kind of like responding, and that's
So to me, I think that's like your best scene that I've ever seen you do.
It was good.
Just like the range and depth that you had of the character, and your voice is kind of going out, and you're getting all pissed off, and I feel like your monitor is about to explode, and like it was really good.
Yeah, no, I like doing it, and Braun's a cool guy to work with. So was Michael Delapia, the Pancake Man.
Yeah.
Right. So I hear there might be a Pancake Man 2.
Well, it says to be continued at the end there, and I was kind of wondering if we're going to be seeing more of you coming out.
Teddy didn't die. I can tell you.
No, he didn't die. Not that we can tell anyway.
he had an episode. I mean, he had episodes. His family was breaking apart. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's pissed. He's pissed about everything. Right.
Yeah, it seemed like it. It was really good though, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll bring us to our trivia question for the day. So get your thinking cap on.
7.
Question is,
Oh.
during the robbery scene at the end of Pancake Man, what was the restaurant that the man says they should have gone to instead of going there?
Oh my God. That question's not directed to me, is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's for you.
I might have got him. I might have stumped him.
Denny's. I don't know. I don't remember.
Wrong answer.
Actually, no, it was Applebee's.
Applebee's. I was thinking breakfast, right? Because Pancake Man was
breakfast, right?
Breakfast would be over, but I don't know.
I'm not sure if you remember that part where the guy and the girl are standing there towards the robbery in the end of the robbery scene, and he's like, "Give me your wallet," and he turns around, he's like, "See, I told you we should have went to Applebee's."
Yeah. That was a good. I love the gang in that. I love the mask that Braun came up with, right? 1, 2, and 3, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
To me, that was a great idea and simple, right?
Very simple, well put together, without any spoilers. It's just a shame how quickly that fell apart.
And I like the way the one guy was talking, like the leader of the gang or whatever, the robbery gang. You're just kind of like, you know, in this little weird voice he's got going on there. Everything's kind of slow and methodical.
I actually tried out sort of for that role. I put in for that role, and Braun correctly did not choose me for that role. So, because that guy was great.
Yeah.
And Teddy was a good character too.
Yeah, I think you were always meant to play Teddy. That was a great performance, my friend.
It was.
I sent in the sort of my audition tape with, I played Teddy as a Russian guy. I sent it with a Russian accent. You want to be nice. You want to be nice to me. I don't want to be nice to you. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's that kind of thing. I didn't play a Russian guy in the movie though. So.
You ever played a Russian guy? You need to play a Russian guy now.
Yeah, well, I did, but in a movie that'll never come out called Land Uncharted. It was a no budget movie, literally no budget. I put the most money into buying bagels one day.
Well,
do you have a favorite like nationality type role that you played?
You know, in the Brandon role, I was Irish American, so I was really hopeful that it wasn't going to be an Irish guy because I have a terrible Irish accent. I sound like the Lucky Charms guy. Oh, magically delicious. Yes, I see.
Anything McGoran.
But I like the Russian accent because and I did a little work on it to figure out how to do it properly by watching John Malkovich and Rounders mostly. But just trying to get the you don't say like at first you might say like a German accent, like they would say the Germans would say W where a V would be, right? And Russians kind of do too, but it's a little different. It's like when you say vodka, it's not vodka, it's like vodka, like that, right? It's more like almost like U and W at the same time,
right?
At least that's how Malkovich played it anyway. So,
Rounders, yeah,
Rounders, good movie. I'm sure Thomas has seen that movie.
About 1,000 times, yeah, probably.
I hear he plays poker now and then.
Yeah.
Supposedly, I don't know if he's any good at it though.
He probably doesn't even play poker. He just says he does, and then probably plays like ping pong or something.
Aside from being an actor and producer, you're also working on screenplays of your own. Is that not true?
Yeah, no, I've got 2 right now that are out, I guess, in a sense. So I got one called The Lower Network, which I put in that's it. The Austin Film Festival screenwriting competition. I'm supposed to hear something back, whatever happens, like next month. So who knows? I don't necessarily expect to win anything. Mostly I'm hoping to get some feedback on it or anything else. Yeah. It's hard to get people to get feedback on scripts. They'll say they do it, but they don't actually do it. They never actually do it. I won't say it. I was about my sister. She's not giving me feedback yet, Carmen. But another one I did called August Chatham, which is very different. Well, first, Lower Network is about a fungal network that sort of lives under a small Kansas town, starts to take it over in a sense. A little bit like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but different. And I won't go into a lot of detail about it, but it basically takes pain away from people, psychological, physical, and everything, right? But that also takes the people away from people, right? It's not being human in a sense. The other one is what I bill as the first slasher movie. It was called August Chatham. Yeah, about this kid in 1880s, rural Georgia, and he has this Pouzon syndrome, which is a facial distortion syndrome. It causes the bones in the face not to expand, so it like crushes your brain basically over time as you get older. And my theory is that, in the script anyway, that this causes a mental deviation in him, which makes him homicidal in a way, right? Yeah. And so he kills a lot of people, right? In a slashery sort of way, and he gets worse and worse and worse until he's finally sort of captured.
Okay, cool.
So the first slasher, in a sense, in my backstory with that title, that idea is that years later, the screenplay starts with an interview in the 1920s of the mom talking about her son, who was the slasher, the killer guy, August. and she explains what happened and everything. It fades into the story, right? It starts with an interview, a radio interview, and fades into the story. My theory behind it is that John Carpenter heard this radio interview and then started coming up with ideas for his own movies. So I'm the first slasher. Yeah.
Love that.
I inspired John Carpenter and all the rest of them. So,
Yeah, that's a very unique idea. I love that. So my fingers will continue to be crossed. I can't wait to see it developed.
yeah, August I entered into the Slam Dance Film Festival in Los Angeles. So we'll see what happens.
Cool. Well, I'm fingers crossed to be rooting for you every step of the way.
Yeah, regardless, I'm intent on making them, and hopefully get it.
Are there any roles in said scripts that you yourself would play?
It rolls in that. I didn't really write any for me. I thought about doing the interviewer. I had myself listed on IMDb as the interviewer, but somebody can be better at that than me, right? And I had myself listed on IMDb in the lower network as this old guy who dies in a park. I could do that probably. and then Andy said he wants to be in one of both of them too. So that's good.
Looking forward to it, man. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
They will get made. No budget, perhaps, will get made.
It's going to get made one way or the other.
Figure it out.
Be filming on my phone, right? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll see.
something I'm sure you'll figure it out. We can't wait to see.
Yeah, the way I wrote them, I didn't write them intentionally like this, but they're not high cost productions, right? There's not a lot of production about. I mean, there's this maybe 5 or 6 actors, right? The most expensive thing probably is August Chatham. I got to have a horse, right? I have to have a horse and a mule properly.
I might know somebody with a mule or a horse, so I might be able to hook you up with that.
That's the most expensive thing probably I'll have in it, right? Because the sheriff
out or something, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, the sheriff has to ride a horse, and August's dad, who just looked like Paul in the movie, has a mule he goes back and forth to town with. So.
Okay. That's a great sell for any producer out there. The biggest thing you're gonna have to worry about in the budget is the horse. Oh, we got that.
Well, if we got to use a dog, we got to use a dog. Whatever.
Yeah, the dog with a horse mask. Okay.
Not that I'd be able to attract named actors into it anyway, but I don't want any.
Yeah.
Right? I think they can distract from it. Right?
Excuse me. Jeez.
Well, other than you, Andy.
Oh, okay, thank you. No, you were right the first time.
Well, I'm not a named actor either, right? So I think that they have they're good in many movies, right? Especially things where they're playing the similar character they played in other movies. But in this kind of movie, or what I'm thinking of anyway, I don't know of anybody that played anything like that, right? And so I can't see it being a value add to it. So it'd be people like me, Andy, right? You, right? Just working stiff actors, blue collar actors, right?
Blue collar actors.
Yeah.
We'll work hard and we'll get it done for you, buddy.
Yeah.
Are there any upcoming projects that we should be beyond that we should keep our eyes open for, Scott?
Well, the slasher thing, the Golden Ale slasher that we're doing right now, and we're kind of doing it like piece at a time. I filmed part of it. We're going to film another part later on, right? And then your movie, and then and also the McQueen that I'm doing in 4 weeks, something like that. I'm flying out to Pittsburgh to do that, and then next spring I'm doing a Starlight and You, which is a love story.
Okay.
Sort of dramedy, I guess, right? It's kind of like a drama and a little bit of humor into it. And it's about a young lady, 20-something-year-old lady, who is engaged to this guy. He breaks it off kind of brutally, and she's trying to work through her love life again, right? And have all this pain and sorrow. She goes to her parents, who are devout Catholics. And I play the dad, Antonio, who's a third-generation Italian-American, devoutly Catholic, knows what the Bible and the priest do usually, right? They know that. And my wife, who's a recent immigrant from Spain, also devoutly Catholic, but takes on Catholicism in a sense, like Spanish take on Catholicism, and Italian take on Catholicism. And I try to give her good, wholesome bodily advice, basically. And it's a supporting, not a lead role, but it has a lot of meat to it, I think. So I'm looking forward to playing it. And again, a different from horror, right? I really like horror a lot. So anybody out there looking for a horror person,
Scott's your guy. Yeah.
but anything else too. I like doing variety.
Variety.
And,
Yep.
like McQueen's a comedy, basically, and I'm going to play that as like my characters feel like the straight man of the world.
Okay. Cool. Well, that's something we're going to have to keep our eyes open and peeled for.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Well, we are getting towards the end of our show here. Andy, do you have any other questions for our guest or any other things you want to talk about?
Not off the top of my head. I appreciate you coming on, man. It was a good time. I'm sure we could talk for longer, but yeah, we try to keep it to a limit here. But
I don't know what time it is. Oh, yes, after 6. Okay.
I guess my only final question is any advice to anyone out there trying to make it into indie or otherwise films?
Don't do it for money. Don't do it for awards. Do it because you love doing it. I mean, I think there's all sorts of actors, right? And some people just like to do it because it's fun, right?
Right.
If you really want to do it and try to be good at it, you can't think about money. You can't think about rewards. You have to think about, I want to be good at being that character, right? I want to be good at being that person. I want to find out what it is to be somebody else and living in that person's skin for a while.
Yeah.
That's an exciting thing to do. So
it's the same thing for me too, man. Like I have, like my thing is just being on set with your friends, having a great time, making something great together so you can all enjoy it together. And you make lifelong friendships like, you and I, and it's way more important than the bottom dollar for the actor. I mean, I understand it's not for the, the director, but
yeah. I mean, doing background stuff, I get paid every time. So that's nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, whether it's background or foreground or wherever, we're just happy that you joined us today for this episode and taking the time to share with your experiences on sets. And we're looking forward to your future acting and writing career, my friend.
Well, thanks. Me too. Really appreciate being on.
Cool. Talk to you in a minute, bro.
Yes, stick around because we'll keep on talking. But again, just for our viewers out there, this is Scott Alan Ward. We again thank him for joining us today, and hopefully we'll see him on a future episode. And be on the lookout for a lot of his projects because he's got really cool things coming down the pipe. Thank you again, Scott. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Andy, is there anything else you want to say to sign off before we do?
Nope. Another great show. Looking forward to episode number 10 next week.
Yep.
And it's going to be one of my favorite topics. Obviously, I'm wearing the shirt of Bad Apples. So we're having actress model Bridget Ortiz on, who played the main character of Nina in Bad Apples. So I'm looking forward to talking about, my biggest movie that I've had so far. And then, other things that she has going on in her modeling career. And just having another awesome episode with my pal Travis over there.
Sounds like a plan. Can't wait. Well, thanks again, viewers, for tuning in, and we will see you in the next week.
TTFN. Ta-ta for now.